Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to be going over some different moveset build options that you can go with on your Meganium in the second generation Pokemon games. And what I like about Meganium is the fact that it has access to a lot of useful moves, not just offensively, but also utility-wise. And Meganium learns a number of useful moves through leveling up, which is nice. It means that you don't necessarily have to put a bunch of TMs on Meganium to make it an effective member of your team. So Meganium, the final evolution form of the starter Pokemon Chikorita, it is a grass type, which leaves it resisting electric, grass, ground, water, weak to bug, fire, flying, ice, and poison. Its best stats are in the defensive categories: 100 defense, 100 special defense, and then the rest of its stats are fairly average to mediocre, with its special attack at 83, attack at 82, HP at 80, as well as its speed. So now going down and taking a look at this supportive build for Meganium, actually all of these moves are learned through leveling up, other than Leech Seed, which is a move that Meganium can pick up through breeding. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through all of these moves and I'm going to touch on what level they're picked up by Meganium, and then also the breeding partners that you would need to get Leech Seed. And then after that, I'm going to go over some additional moves that you could slot in here if you want more offensive options or different utility options. And then after that, I'm going to go over an additional moveset build that I like to go with, which revolves around the move Sunny Day, which has a good pairing with Solar Beam and Synthesis, which Meganium can pick up through leveling up. But I'll touch on that after going over the supportive build first. So we have our offensive move in slot number 1, Razor Leaf. It has a high critical hit ratio, not great base power at 55, and then it has 95 accuracy. It is a grass typing, so same type attack bonus. You're hoping to get those critical hit shots in to boost up the power of this move, and Razor Leaf is learned through leveling up, picked up at level 8. Move number 2 has some defensive options for your team, whether you're looking for Reflect, which for 5 turns the user's party has double the defense, or Light Screen. For 5 turns the user's party has double special defense, depending on what defensive option you want to go with in this area. Both learned through leveling up. Reflect picked up at level 12, where Light Screen is grabbed at level 41. Now, I'm also going to quickly touch on Leech Seed and Synthesis, but then after that, I'm going to go into move number 2 and give you some additional offensive options if you'd rather go in that direction, or some different utility moves as well that you could slot in here if you didn't want a team defensive move in that second slot area. So move number 3, Leech Seed, 1/8 of the target's HP is restored to the user every turn, 90% accurate. And like I said, this is going to be an egg move in Generation 2 learned through breeding, where the father is going to be from the Bulbasaur line, Execute, or Hoppip. And they need to know Leech Seed, and then through breeding, you can get that Leech Seed onto your Chikorita. And then the last move is Synthesis. This heals the user by a weather-dependent amount. And Synthesis is going to be picked up through leveling up at level 23. So that rounds out this supportive build. But I want to give you a couple of additional options that you could put in here for move number 2 if you didn't want a team defensive move. If you wanted an offensive attack, you could do something like Body Slam, which is picked up at level 31. Or taking a look at moves learned by TM, you could also do something like Earthquake, which is TM 26. And TM 26 Earthquake is found on the second floor of the Victory Road in the northwest corner plateau area. This is where you're going to grab that TM 26 for Earthquake. And then a couple of other utility options that you could put in here for move number 2 that deal damage to the opposition would be something like a Poison Powder, which is learned through leveling up, picked up at level 15. Or you could go with Toxic to poison the target, and that's learned through TM6, which is going to be picked up as TM06, a prize for defeating the gym leader Janine. And quickly, the difference between Poison Powder and Toxic: of course, Poison Powder not quite as accurate, and it's going to deal a base 1/8 amount of damage to the opposition when they're poisoned, whereas Toxic ramps up over time. It starts off with taking 1/16 of their health, and then each additional turn after that, it's going to increase by another 1/16 of their health for each additional turn, so the damage ramps up over time, where Poison Powder starts out as a higher damage amount, but then it stays flat at that amount through the rest of the turns. And to wrap up this video, I'm going to be going over another build path that I think is a really interesting option on Meganium, revolving around using Sunny Day and then using the effect of Sunny Day to increase the effectiveness of Solar Beam as well as Synthesis. So starting off with move number 1, Sunny Day. And Sunny Day is going to be TM 11. And this can be picked up over at the Celadon Department Store's 3rd floor for 2,000. And to go over the effect of Sunny Day in Generation 2, what it's going to allow you to do is Synthesis. It's going to recover twice as much HP as under clear conditions. And additionally, Solar Beam will not require a turn to charge, which is very nice. And for Meganium, Synthesis picked up at level 23, Solar Beam picked up at level 61. So then in move number 4, I have a bunch of different options that you can slot in here. It kind of just depends on what you're looking to do. I already touched on Razor Leaf, Body Slam, Earthquake, Poison Powder, Toxic, and Leech Seed in the previous build that I went over, so I'm not going to go over those again. But in addition that I have in here is Giga Drain, which is a TM that you pick up for defeating the gym leader Erica. And what Giga Drain does is it's going to deal out damage and the user will recover 50% of the HP drained. And in Generation 2, Giga Drain has a 60 base power. Alright guys, so that's going to wrap up this video, going over a couple of different build paths that you can go with on your Meganium in the second generation Pokemon games. Whether you want to build around something like Sunny Day, which is going to increase the effectiveness of Solar Beam and Synthesis, and then you have a lot of other additional options that you can slot in to move number 4. Or we have this more supportive type build that I touched on originally, but there's just a ton of different options that you have on your Meganium because it has access to so many interesting options with its attack moves, its utility moves, its defensive moves, and it has a lot of moves that pair well with the item leftovers. So I hope this video was helpful. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Consider subscribing. I'll catch you back here next time.